All right, we are live, guys. Welcome back to another stream. Let me just make sure that everything is set up here. For this stream, I'm going to go back into my roots here. We're going to go back into geometric illustration. I'm going to try to do something here that goes back to my roots, but I still want to do a little bit more to the illustrations that I usually do, which are like super flat. So it's still going to be flat, but we're going to try to add some shading to it. So I hope that you can tune in, that you can join in the chat, say hello, don't be shy, and that we can have some fun for an hour or so. So I'm just going to go straight ahead and start this because we're also going to be recording for Saturday's video. All right. So I got a color palette going here, and we're just going to try to figure it out as we go. And let's just see. I hope everything is set correctly. Do I have this set to private once again? It is set to private, so setting it to public, and I hope that now this does it. All right, guys, so let me restart what I was just saying. So welcome back to the stream. I know it's been a while. I've been trying to work on my art, and this is what I've been trying to study so far. So I'm not sure if you have been following my Instagram. I even did like a study on a more of a, let's just say like realistic in terms of shading and elements. It's a little bit more on the manga side, but now I'm back on the geometric stuff, and we're going to try another geometric illustration, but I'm going to try to break some of the mold, some of the things that I've been doing with my illustration with super flat illustrations, and I'm going to try something that has a little bit more shading applied to it. So hi Diego, welcome to the stream. I hope you guys have some fun for an hour or so. I know we're all kind of trying to stay safe, stay indoors, all the self-isolation happening, some really crazy things happening in the world right now, but we're all going to get through this. So let's just have some fun. I am going to start this illustration, make sure I lock my sketch and get my first color. And let's just see what happens. If what happens here is something that we ended up not liking too much, this is just an experiment. I'm gonna try to play around with some more of a loose brushes. So I'll show you guys what I have here in a second. So what I'm going to be using. Hi Paola, how's it going? So what I've been using here, guys, or what I'm going to use for this one is this brush, which I believe is in the sketching. I think is either in the sketching or inking, and it's just going to be, I just made a copy and I saved into my favorites, and it does have like a really nice kind of a grainy quality to it. I'm not gonna use outlines. I'm going to ditch the black outlines that I used to do a lot. I'm going to leave that off, and let's just see what happens in terms of like shading. I've heard this before about the Leo Kim. I'm not too sure, guys, who that person is, but it's not the first time that I hear that. And as long as he's cool like me, that's fine. So is he like an actor? Can you guys let me know who this person is? But that is really funny. It's really not the first time I hear that. How are you guys doing? Are you guys still, are you working from home? Basically studying from home? Where are you guys from? Let me know in the chat. And I'm very curious to see how this turns out. I forgot to say something. This is also a bit of a self-portrait of myself. So this is actually the first self-portrait that I'm making here in the channel. Hi MZR Queen, hi Alyssa. My favorite brush for line art is actually a brush that I've tweaked myself. In fact, my favorite brush, I know I've said this like multiple times, but I have two brushes. Oh, I know, sometimes I do my streams and it's super late because it's like 9 p.m. here. I gotta put my stepson to bed. That takes a while, guys. Dinner, all the stuff. So that's the only time that I'm like fully free, and I know it's pretty late for a lot of people and I'm sorry about that, but we can stay together for like a little bit here, have some fun, and hopefully my voice is pretty good to put you guys to bed. But back into line work. So I've made two brushes. One has, there's no tapering, no kind of pen pressure applied to it, which is this one. And I have it on my Gumroad page and it's completely free. And I've made it quite big from the get-go, so it really works well with high quality illustrations if you guys are making like really big canvases, such as like 4,000 by 5,000, or like, stretching the limits of what the iPad and the iPad Pro can do on Procreate. And my other one is this ink brush, which does have pen pressure, so you can really go, you can really play around with the pressure sensitivity with this brush. So I do like to use these two brushes. Sometimes I go with the no pressure and I draw a line like this, and then I go with the eraser brush and then I taper it. So as you can see here, I go and I make something that looks like this. And the reason for that is if I go back into the one with pressure, even like what I'm doing right here, it's okay. So sometimes I really want to have the full control, so I go with the one with no pressure, then I use the erase brush and I get the tip that I want. And also I just made a video today on the channel itself, and we talk about let's go here to preferences. Oh, I think like the screen is not going to show that, unfortunately, guys, but is the pressure curve option on Procreate. So with the pressure curve option, you can further tweak all of your brushes that have tapering applied to it. So fortunately with this layout here, I was mostly focusing on the artwork. So if you want to know a little bit more about the pressure sensitivity and what you can do with the Apple Pencil, make sure to watch today's video that I just posted this morning. Hey Midnight, how's it going, man? Good to see you here. Good to see all of you guys here. We're still kind of holding on. So let's continue. So as I was just saying, guys, I did try a couple different styles. I just decided, since we're all doing the self-isolation thing, and could be the right time for me to try something different and see what happens. Actually, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm also gonna make sure that, yes, we can kind of see it. There, cool. So I'm in this phase of like trying some different things, and I used to be way more conscious about actually not populating my Instagram with different artwork. And now, you know, there's that feature of archiving. So you can post something, you can see the reaction. And if you think that that's not really what you want, you can always archive that Instagram. You don't have to keep it. If you think that is, you know, it's kind of like getting away from what you actually want to put in. So start dropping some color. I'm actually going to unlock this because the opacity is still super strong here. I like to keep things like a bit more of a surprise, at least as much as it can be. And let's make another layer and start drawing some stuff. So hey Midnight, so as I was just explaining, I'm going to try a different kind of an illustration using more of an artistic brush. And I'm not really sure if for the stream I'm gonna have enough time to finish this illustration. But the idea here is to make something that has a bit more of like artistic shader to it, a bit more detail, but going back to my geometric roots. Because it's really funny, I posted my Instagram of my latest illustration. Once again, it was like heavily influenced by manga illustration, and I asked the question, what do you guys think? Do you guys prefer what I've been doing so far with the geometric stuff, or do you prefer this new style? And I got some mixed reactions. Some people were really, you know, up for it and saying like, yeah, I should totally do this, and others were saying, and you know, to be completely honest, I actually prefer what you were doing before with the geometric stuff. And I actually really I was really glad by how honest everyone was, or the people who replied, and I really appreciated that. So right now I'm gonna try to do something in between. So that's, you know, that's basically what I'm going to try to do. Is it okay to draw on paper then pass it to digital, or is it better to just do everything digital from scratch? I used to do a very rough sketch on paper, and just for the sake of time and with all the things that I need to do, you know, I still work during the day, so I don't really have much time at this point to do sketches on paper and then bring it on to an iPad. So I just go and I just create digitally from the get-go. But if I could choose, I would start on paper for sure, because it's so nice to have the feeling of paper. You know, as much as I have the matte screen protector here on the iPad, it's never going to be the same thing as the realistic feel of like pencil and paper. Drawing with some really nice kind of pencils. One that I really like, you know, those Prismacolor Cool Rays pencils. I hope you guys can see that. So I think, yeah, that's the camera. I got so many cameras here on the go, but this pencil is amazing. It's the one that you can really do some loose sketches, and the stroke doesn't really hold on the paper. You can use, you know, an eraser and quickly get that out. And there's so many different colors. You can get blue and pink and make like a dual tone kind of sketch before you go and take this further. So in the future, I would actually like to do more stuff on paper. And which is also funny because the name of this channel is called Ghost Paper, but the idea behind it, which I'm not sure if you guys know, is that that's why it's called Ghost, because art is made here in a digital form. So maybe it's just a joke that didn't land. I don't know, guys. But that was kind of like the idea for this channel, for the name for this channel. So let's see if I can move rather quickly, although I'm not really worried about finishing this up today. See if I can get a better feeling for this element here. Something like this already better. Okay. And let's continue. No, it's not a bad thing at all. Have you used alcohol markers? If so, do you recommend them? I've heard it's the most like digital but on paper. That's a really interesting thing. Are the what's it called? Do I have them here? Man, the name is escaping me, but I was playing with markers a little while ago. I just can't remember, and I have a few colors, but I think I had the wrong paper, to be honest. It was like transferring a lot to the other side. There were a few things I needed to do in terms of like technique. You know, it's some of these markers you really have to know how to paint them. Some people go like in a circular motion, some people follow the lines all the time. So there's like a few things that you just gotta put a lot of practice to get the hang of it. All right. Now that I think of it, I'm gonna be testing a few things here. I'm wondering if I should just go with this color. Good morning. Wow. So let's see. Do you mirror the drawing? Is it even possible to mirror in Procreate? Do you mean symmetry, or do you mean how am I streaming the drawing onto another screen? I like both of the styles usually show, so go with the one that like make you feel like you want to do. Thanks, Bola. Yes, go with your heart. That's what I'm doing. Like, that's really like the ultimate thing, to be completely honest. Because, I was doing those drawings, and you know what I think it really is? This sentence, go with your heart. I think it also means like when you look at something, picture yourself making that thing in a series of 30 drawings, 30 illustrations, and like it could be any number, but like more than 2, more than 5. And what I mean by that is like when you picture yourself doing that in a sequence, if you feel good about it, thumbs up, that's great. But if you feel like, that's gonna be a bit of a hurdle, I don't know where to go from the first one, I think that's kind of telling you something here, that it's not necessarily it's like a lack of practice or a lack of technique. It's almost like the going with your gut, the feeling of like, I really feel like trying this, even if you don't know, but if you feel like up for it to try multiple times, it means that there's something in there for you. So that's kind of like the question that I like to ask myself like many times when I'm trying something different, a new style. I actually doing one illustration is one thing, but then when you really picture it and think, can I do this like actually multiple times, make like a big series out of it? And if the answer is yes, then for sure go for it. Also, I've been just like on a side note, I've been really liking doing streams, and once again I apologize for my late streams, but those are just for now just the way that they have to be, and maybe soon enough I can start streaming at a more of a proper time. But I do see that in the next morning or in the next day I do get a little bit of a replayability, so people watch it after, So if you don't catch it live, you can always watch it later on as well. Let's see. You click on the settings symbol, top left corner, flip canvas. Oh yes, the flipping, the mirroring, the flipping and mirroring. I really. So here's one thing, guys. Let me just zoom this back. The reason why I don't do a lot of that stuff, it's because when I make, I actually might have to go to edit drawing guide, make sure thickness and opacity are max, so the camera can capture just this as best as possible. The reason why I don't do a lot of that stuff is because with geometric illustration and my geometric drawings and illustrations, everything is planned from the get-go, from the beginning. That's actually one of the things I like about this illustration, which means that I have more playability at the beginning stage with the sketching phase, and then it kind of makes a recipe for me to be able to take over when I'm putting colors, shading, and everything else. So if you look here, everything is already laid out in a really nice way. So if I unlock my sketch layer and I just go back to the opacity and I raise up, if you look at everything is proportionally made, like everything is constructed with shapes. So it really frees me up, you know, with a lot of things. First is like studies of like anatomy, things like that, geometric and stylized illustration. They don't really have to obey a lot of these rules. And secondly, using shapes and geometry for me really helps to visualize what I'm trying to do. So because I've constructed everything with lines and grids and proportions, it's kind of like mirrored from the get-go. So there's a lot of symmetry applied to it already. So I don't do a lot of that stuff, but everyone who draws more realistic illustrations, I highly recommend flipping and doing that stuff. The only reason I do flip my illustrations is when I have elements around the frame, and flipping really shows me the balance of the picture, the balance in terms of compositing and layout. So that's a really good opportunity for you to flip your drawings. If you're making stuff in a geometric way or stylized way, and you're following kind of like this recipe that I am following here as well. So I hope that answers the question. How are you recording with the iPad while live streaming? Well, there's like a PC program. There's several actually. There's one, I think it's called the 5K player, and what it does is it's not free. You gotta pay for it, and I don't think it's that much anyways. But it's able to pretend that the PC is actually an AirPlay. Oops, 20 minutes just went by really fast here. So let's keep recording. So it basically makes the PC kind of like an AirPlay machine, so that you can mirror your iPad to this, and then I use on OBS or Streamlabs, I capture that screen onto the stream. So I know it sounds a little complicated, but streaming is actually way more complicated than what a lot of people think. So in a nutshell, it is possible, and everything, there's ups and downs to everything. So the way that using the software, I get like the best quality picture because it's really capturing it like almost with the same fidelity that the iPad has. But the downside of that is that you guys don't see my hand drawing. You're only looking at the feed of the iPad screen. So in the future, I will also change the setup and not just have like the iPad feed, but also like my hand drawing on top of it, because the only reason why I'm not too worried about this at the moment is because I do have a camera filming what I'm doing, and I put that as an edit on the weekend videos. So you still get that as well. You just don't get that during the stream. I love how you guys are just sharing tips and tricks about symmetry and flipping canvas and assisted drawing. That's amazing. Because sometimes the distance between making a new illustration and not making a new illustration is just like learning a new tool, such as the symmetry tool. And you can make like beautiful like floral designs, patterns, all these things. And that was also something I read in a book that I thought it was really, really cool. It wasn't a book on illustration or anything. It's actually about making music. But the question is like, there were several questions in this book, and he said like, what do you do when you don't feel creatively inspired to draw anything, or when you don't know what you want to draw? In this case, again, it was about making music. So it was like, what do you do when you don't feel like making music? And the answer in the book was, well, if you open the software, in this case, if you open Procreate, even though if you don't feel like doing anything, if you just study a new tool, you're already doing way more than, there was like a bit of a statistic there, but it was way over 70% or something of people who didn't even open the application or the software. So I thought that was actually pretty cool, that it's not just about drawing or creating music, but it's also about studying new tools and discovering new things. Let me see if I can feel this. Yes. Good night, Alyssa. Sorry, you can also catch up tomorrow. Hopefully, you can catch the stream tomorrow. I know I don't want to make it too late for you guys. The only downside I would say about geometric illustration actually is that you don't really get to see, but I guess this happens with many other types of illustrations. But here, you don't really get to see what you're doing. Like, not what you're doing, I think what I'm trying to say is like the potential of what you're doing. You only really see after you're putting some of the things that are almost considered final touches. So a lot of people who like and make realistic illustrations and they start rendering their illustrations, it's kind of like you start seeing it. Whereas here, if I just were to zoom out, this just looks like shapes at the moment. It looks like a pretty basic illustration. And it's only in the final steps that things starts to like, wow, this is really cool, hopefully. So where is this gap? It's right here. Also, by the way, guys, I am not getting the new iPad Pro that just released. I know I didn't make a video about it, but I think I don't have to say too much that it has a really good camera, has lighter technology, but it's not really like a big jump in terms of screen quality. It does have a better processor, but I think Procreate is still working and studying even what can be done, and if you do get like more layers down the road and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's not gonna happen for me at least. So I'm curious to know in the chat if you guys are even considering getting the new iPad or the iPad Pro, or if you're considering getting a cheaper option. And also, if you use a different drawing tablet, let me know in the chat as well. All right. Let me make sure. Okay. I forgot to ask if you guys think that the music's too loud. Hopefully not. I can't hear anything because I'm just feeding into the stream. But just some nice lo-fi hip-hop chill out tunes for you guys. Cool. Let's continue. I think I'm gonna actually use this color for now. And hopefully this will line up in a good way. Go. Okay. Another trick that I'm not, thank you. Thanks for letting me know, Paula. Another trick that I'm not sure if you guys know, and once again, I'm so sorry that the interface is not showing fully here, but if you go to Canvas on the Actions menu, Canvas, and then Canvas information, you can click on layers and you can see based on the size of the file that you've chosen to make your illustration, you can see the number of layers that you've used so far, the number of layers available, and the maximum number of layers at the top. So here, 114 layers, more than enough for myself. I'm not really making this too big of a canvas of an illustration. I think this is like a 2K by 2K pixels. So it's decent enough for an Instagram post, for a square post, but it's not like super big for a poster, for a print poster. So just let you guys know, if you don't know that, like it's a way for you to manage your layers and know how many layers you have left. It's always a good trick. I'm just going to make a clipping mask out of this. Another thing that's really funny that it didn't really click on me. It's that because I'm left-handed, it's actually really useful to be left-handed. It's like one of the first times in the world that being left-handed, there's some advantage to it. Like, you know, when I went to high school, the tables were all set up in a different way for people who are right-handed, and like playing guitars, playing acoustic instruments is always such like a hurdle. You just gotta learn the proper way, otherwise you have to flip all the strings. And on Procreate, I can draw with my left hand, and on the right hand, I can use, like, I can check on layers, brushes. I know that you can flip, so if I go to preferences once again, and I just choose, where was that? Yeah, in preferences, left hand interface, I get the size of the brush and the opacity on the left side. So if you're drawing with your right hand, you can change the dial of the brush and the opacity, but in fact you're overusing your right hand to go back into the layers, go back into the brush menu, when in fact when you draw with your left hand, you balance your, like, both of your hands in a better way, because you're drawing with your left, and on the right hand you're quickly going to layers panel, you're quickly, you know, going into the brushes. So, you know, it's finally one of the things that being a lefty is there's some advantage to it. And I think someone said that on a YouTube comment or something on a video. Nice, midnight. So there are some advantages. There are some advantages, guys. Okay, let's continue. My goodness, it's already like 10. I may have to do this in 2 parts till I find whatever I'm doing here. Yeah, isn't it crazy? Once you actually, like, think about it. I thought that, like, I don't know, I thought that, like, Procreate would maybe eventually give you a little bit more freedom to be able to flip everything, or maybe, yeah, but then you would stack everything on the left. It's just really funny. I guess it's like one of the few times, as I was just saying, it seems that there is some advantage being a left-hand person. So let's see if this connects, like over here. It did. Why is this behaving like that? Oh, I see. The only thing about using these artistic brushes is fixing all these sections. Then again, there's some beauty on using these kinds of brushes. Hey, how's it going? I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name, but you're always commenting on my videos. AKM. I wish I could. Sorry, really, it's hard for me to spell it. Also, hi James. How's it going, guys? Hope you guys are having a good day, evening, morning, whatever you are, and staying safe. and I hope you guys are enjoying some of the content. Alright, getting to the end of this. Here we go. Cool. Back on the beard. Alright. This will probably have some opacity applied to it. I'm gonna figure that later. If it's going to be maybe multiply luminosity. I'm gonna figure that out. I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. Or maybe just back to normal. And good, 45. We will figure this out. Right. ASMR videos. Hi, friend. Welcome to your first live stream here on Ghost Paper. I know the one of the best sounds really comes from using these matte screen protectors on the iPad, and not only that, like the feeling of drawing like increases exponentially. Like I find it so funny that the iPads do come with such a glossy screen that sticks to your hand a lot. I don't really think that they were made mostly for people for drawing, but once you put one of these things, it just becomes something else. It does become way better. All right. I think the echo, and I'm sorry for that as well, guys. This is like a new room and a kind of like a new studio that I'm setting up. Amazon has such a backlog. I am just ordering the sound panels or the acoustic panels. Hopefully that will make things better. I've noticed this like Blue Yeti microphone is picking up a lot of echo because I think it's bouncing off the walls when I speak. So I need to put some sound panels behind this microphone onto the walls here. And wow, Red Owl, man, it's been ages. How are you? Wow, are you still drawing? Are you still making stuff? Good to see you, man. It's been a really long time. check here on the phone. That's good. Good to hear, man. It's probably morning for you, I think. I remember you were always saying that. How the time is this? Oh yeah. How your times or time zone was like completely different. When did I start Procreate? Thanks, Red Owl. I know it really grew after a lot of hard work, as you probably know. So I started Procreate like on and off. I think I was doing some stuff in 2017. It was really on and off. Maybe I've like seen it. And then 2018 is when I really started making stuff. But I wasn't doing a channel, I wasn't doing like YouTube or anything. I was just having some fun. And then finally, I think after August, I made a video that took me about 3 months to post, because it was my very first video. If you go back to my channel, it's kind of like a mosaic of like a sci-fi thing, and I was just drawing like all over the place, kind of like a space scene. And it took me a while, and that's always, you know, the first like experience takes all that time, and then the following videos were just becoming faster and faster. So I'm just gonna hit record here. We'll see if I'm gonna post this video here, guys. This might just be a bit of a one-off here. I mean the editing one, because I'm still trying to find the colors here. Trying to find what I'm really trying to do here. So what was I saying? So it takes a while, and then I just kept using Procreate. I think the most important thing is to just keep trying. Yeah, it was a bit early, but again, there were a lot of pauses. I think I kind of understand Spanish, guys, because I am from Brazil, but like which brush am I using to make shadows? Right now these shadows are really kind of like harsh shadows. So I'm in fact, this whole illustration has been so far been done with one brush. Which is the ink bleed brush. I don't know if the 2 is because I made a copy out of it. It might not be. In fact, I think the name of the brush is ink bleed 2, because I think there's two types of ink bleed. All right. What have I done wrong? Let me do a solo layer. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but just holding the little tick, the little checkbox on a layer solos it. Just showing you guys some tips just in case you guys don't know that. It never hurts. Showing a couple things. And also I've been doing a lot of the threshold. As you can see there, when I drop a color, if it doesn't feel properly, feel like the shape, you can always kind of move it around. Move the top bar, which is the color threshold, to make it fill the shape properly. Let's see. I really think I need to take a bit of a step back here and think about this image here, guys. Even what the background is going to be. There's so many questions. Go with a pink one. Probably not a super dark one. There's just one last one that I do want to try. But it's kind of like, oops. It's taking the saturation out of this. Thank you. Hi, that Rando George. Welcome to the stream. We're just having a bit of a fun here for a couple hours, making some drawings. And I already know that I need to take this and think about this illustration, come up with the right colors. I'm just having some fun here for a bit. It's a very, very loose self-portrait that I'm making tonight. I promise that I'm gonna try to get it a little bit closer, but that's it. I'm just trying to do my first self-portrait here. Not really sure if I will succeed. Maybe I think hat's probably not gonna work. Let's drop this hat over there. But because of this whole self-isolation, guys, I kind of grew a bit of a beard. Yes, I am staying at home. So the result of that is this long beard here. I mean, not that long, but grows really fast. So I've been trying to like trim it every few days. And just, you know, staying at home, work from home. You can see now my hair is probably super flat because of the hat, but let's see where this illustration can get to. Are you all in quarantine? Do you still have to do stuff outside during the day? What's happening on your side, guys? All right. Thank you. Thanks, Daniel. I think it's getting there. I think now I need to like start really thinking about this. How am I going to shade this? But I'm just gonna draw some highlights. Yeah, this layer is empty. And then I'll figure this out. People's favorite things to go to Walmart. Yeah, I put an order so that Walmart could deliver to my place, because I have like a Walmart really close by where I live here in Canada, but I didn't go there. I just yeah, just going out for essentials. Same with me. But to be completely honest, guys, I try to go to like smaller places for these essentials. And as I was just saying, like this is actually true. Put an order so that it would deliver to my house, but when I go, I'm avoiding places that has like a lot of people for sure, for obvious reasons. And it's so crazy, guys. We'll get through it. Just painting this section is probably more ASMR for you guys. Yeah. Everyone's just doing their part. I'll do this. It's funny how there's a couple people from Florida here. Maybe Florida loves geometric illustrations. Who knows? How are you staying motivated? My internal clock is going crazy. I'm napping like 8 times a day. Well, Teresa, to be completely honest, it has been a really hard time. It is a really hard time right now to stay motivated. I totally feel what you're saying. And the only reason I can do anything here is because what I try to do is to just take like a little bit of time throughout the day, because days are really chaotic here in the sense that like I have a stepson and he's at home with us and we have to help him, and it hasn't been easy at all. So it's like I try to take a little bit of time throughout the day to like to think about one thing in the evening that will bring me joy. I think that's basically the rule. So tonight I may be live streaming, but maybe tomorrow even watching like an episode on Netflix of like a show, certain thing, and maybe probably something more on the positive thing. I'm not watching Contagion, I'm not watching like, but this is just me. So it has been really difficult. I've heard about Myrtle Beach, yeah. Yeah, things are definitely different. Oh. Have you ever gotten hate comments? Well, yeah, it's normal in any creator, any channel of any creator that's doing something online. And quite honestly, I don't spend any time dealing with those things. I don't really respond because I don't empower these people. That's as simple as that. Also, do I have brothers? I do have siblings. I have one older brother, 2 older sisters. I'm actually the youngest. And they're all back in my homeland. All right, so let's start figuring this out a bit. Are we gonna go multiply, or am I going to what about overlay? Somehow it's just thanks, Ron. You use Illustrator? I do use Illustrator, and I used to use Illustrator for the longest time. But there's something just so nice about just picking up an iPad, and it's very calming. And I think like Illustrator, there's something about it that like forces you to be very like meticulous, and like, you know, you're dealing with those vectors, those Bezier points, and you gotta click on the right like little Bezier and start dragging that around. And there's something really nice just about the experience of the iPad. So I do enjoy it. It's really good in that sense. My favorite thing about Procreate is the fact that it allows me to sketch something and at the same time use quick shapes, because I think that's basically the best of both worlds for someone who likes geometric shapes. I can draw like I was thinking in an Adobe Illustrator way, but without the constraints of drawing with Beziers. I can just draw and transform things into shapes. I think if I can put that into a sentence, that is to me the best thing that I find about Procreate, is to be able to draw in a geometric way with an artistic like ability. That is just amazing to me. And mostly the fact that it's done with a mobile thing such as the iPad, so it allows you to take it anywhere. You can start an illustration at home, and you know, once we're all allowed to go back outside, if you're going to school, if you're going to work, and if you commute, you can take your iPad with you and continue working on your illustration. And I find that just so amazing. And it's almost like the same feeling that you get when you have a notebook and you can draw with pencil and paper. So these are all like really amazing things. I'm gonna stop recording this stop camera here because I need to like spend some time now and kind of try to figure this out, try to figure this illustration. I think I've been streaming for almost like about an hour, a little bit more. Hi Neil. Hope you're doing good. And I think I'm gonna have to take some time here, guys, to kind of figure this out. So I might be just signing off for a little bit now, and continue like posting more videos on the channel. I'll try to make something for Saturday. If not a tutorial, I'll try to do more content. It is easy to use. The first thing that I tried was it's easy to learn the basics. That's another really cool thing about Procreate. It's not really like something you have to like dive in like multiple menus. You can if you want to, but you can just pick up Procreate and pick up like 2 or 3 brushes and do whatever you need to do. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a good day, whatever whenever it's the day or night for you. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys very soon. And hopefully when I'm back, this will be done, probably uploaded to my Instagram. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao, guys. No worries, Enzo. Good night, Teresa. Oh wow, that's good to know, Ron. Have a great day, Red Owl. Bye, Paula. Have a good day, guys. Have a good night. Bye, midnight. Stay safe. Bye, friend. I'm saying bye to everybody. Stay safe. All right. Bye-bye.